Did you know that the Texas Practicum will not help you pass your home inspection licensing exams? Most people don't. In this video, I'll teach you exactly what the Texas Practicum is, exactly what it takes to complete it, and why you should never use it as the reason to pick your home inspection school. Hi, I'm Matt Warner, and I help people pass their home inspector licensing exams on their first try. So what is the Practicum? Practicum is no longer considered to be a class in Texas. It's now considered to be field experience. As of August 2024, TREC reclassified it from being a required class to being required field experience. Schools no longer certify that students have completed the course. Now students go onto the TREC website and get a credit request form that they fill out and have signed by the inspector that takes them on their practicum experiences. So the first thing you should know about the Texas Practicum is before you can take part in it, you must complete all of your qualifying education courses and submit all of those certificates of completion to TREC so that they can send you back the approval to go do your practicum. So if it's not a class, what exactly do you have to do for the practicum? The practicum requires a student to go on 5 in-person complete inspections that total 40 hours. Students will complete a full inspection report for each of the 5 inspections on the REI 76 inspection form. The rule is the maximum number of students that can go with an inspector is 4. So most schools will allow 4 students to go out with an inspector. Once the inspections are done and the inspection reports are completed, the supervising inspector will review the inspection reports to make sure they would be approved to go out to the general public. Students must demonstrate an understanding of how to write an inspection report, how to do an inspection safely, and how to interact with the general public on inspections. Supervising inspectors on the practicum experiences must have 5 years of experience as a professional inspector and either 3 years of teaching experience or 200 plus inspections. Since TREC changed the practicum from a course to field experience, students do actually have more options in how they get the practicum completed. First, and the best way, is if they know a professional inspector with 5 years of experience, which means they'll have 200 plus inspections, they can ask that person to take them out on 5 ride-alongs and complete those practicum requirements. The second option is using one of the schools that still provides their practicum course. The third option is to find an inspection company that may be hiring. If a student is looking to go to work for a company, it's a little easier to find an inspection company that would be willing to take them on the practicum because they can use that as an onboarding experience for a new employee. Oftentimes, they'll be able to do that for you for free, so they'll give you the 5 ride-alongs so that they get you prepared to come work for them after you pass your exam. Alternatively, you can find inspection companies or inspectors that are willing to do it for a price. When I've talked to my students about this, they seem to be curious as to why it would cost anything to go on a ride-along. So let me go ahead and explain that as well. There's 2 primary reasons why inspection companies and inspectors will charge students to take them on the practicum experiences. The first is liability. One, they are basically taking someone out on an inspection, and if anything happens to them, that could end up on their insurance. It's also a liability against their professional reputation because they're certifying in writing that you're a competent enough inspector to go out in the field and do this. So it could come back to bite them. The second reason is you're asking an inspector who makes $100 an hour or more to take you out on an inspection and teach you the things necessary to help you make $100 an hour or more. If you add this up, the practicum should take 40 hours. If you were paying them at their rate, that would be a $4,000 experience. So if you're just having to pay $1,000, you're getting like a 75% discount in order to learn all the things that have helped that person create a career that makes them $100 or more an hour. So the benefit to you is far more substantial than the cost. So how much will it cost? Well, again, if you know someone, you can likely get it for $0. If you're thinking about going to work for a company, you might be able to get it for $0. Otherwise, you have some schools in town that'll charge anywhere from $500 to $1,500 for your 5 experiences. Now that we know what the practicum is, what it requires, and how much it costs, let's talk real quickly about why you shouldn't pick a school based on just the practicum. The fact is, the practicum will not help you prepare to pass the exam. It does prepare you to go out in the real world and perform inspections, but if you don't pass the exam, you're not legally allowed to go do the inspections anyway. Choosing a school based on their practicum is like choosing to buy a car based on the rims. This is the same thing with the practicum. If you go to a school based on the practicum, but they can't help you pass the test, it's not going to get you to the point where you can go use the experience you got from the practicum anyway. So don't base your decision on whether or not a school provides the practicum. Because the practicum does not help with test prep, we don't focus a great deal on that. However, we can't help you pass that test if you don't get to take the test, and TREC requires that our students all take the practicum. So it benefits us to help connect you with good inspectors to help you get through that practicum so we can get you to that test, help you pass the first time, get you licensed and out into the field working, and help us prove that our system helps all of our students pass that exam on their first try. What we do with our practicum is we connect you with inspectors in some of the bigger cities around Texas, including Houston, DFW, Austin, San Antonio, Lubbock, and we set up to have them take you on one-to-one practicum experiences, which means one inspector and one student. Also, we set our practicum up to be done as rapidly as your schedule will allow. Our inspection companies that we use for the practicum can run 7 days a week. So if your schedule allows, we can get you through in 5 days, literally. I've had several students that have been able to accomplish their practicum experience in 5 days flat. This is opposed to some of the other situations around the state where you could be waiting anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months before you can go do your inspections. So it is a benefit to you in the fact that you get a better experience and you get it done faster. So let's put this all into a big picture now. Your primary concern as you're pursuing your license should be passing that exam. If you don't pass the exam, you can't ever start inspecting houses. So that should be your primary concern and the primary focus of why you choose a school. Are they more likely to help you pass that exam the first time or less likely? Let me give you an example based on the Inspection Academy. If you were to take your 6 professional courses through the Inspection Academy, that would run you $2,750. And if you used our practicum instructors at the most, we would charge you $1,000 for the 5 inspections. So you're at $3,750 to get all 6 of your courses and your practicum included, plus bulletproof test prep, which will help prepare you to pass that exam on your first attempt. And you get it all for under $4,000. Think about that for a little while, because if you start your own business that's making $500 an inspection, that means you can pay off your education in 8 inspections. It's pretty fast for a career that could end up creating a 6-digit income for you annually, and even bigger if you want to start a multi-inspector firm. If you're still confused by the Texas Practicum and you have any questions, feel free to text me or call at 281-917-7360. I'd be glad to help answer any of the questions you may have. Remember, because we're home inspectors, we know what to teach. Because we're educators, we know how to teach it.